emails and what they portend. The lead editorial in the Wall Street Journal this morning sums it up nicely. It is entitled The Bidens and China Business. The story won't go away without explanation, even if the Veep wins, is the subtitle. And the Wall Street editorial board writes, most of the media is ignoring the emails found in Hunter Biden's laptop, but that doesn't mean they aren't news. Joe Biden has an obligation to answer questions about his son's influence peddling in his own financial dealings, notably regarding China. The New York Post last week obtained the contents of a laptop purported to belong to Hunter. The Post has been transparent that it obtained its copy of the hard drive from Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani, who says he received it from the owner of a Delaware computer repair shop, where it was abandoned in 2019. Mr. Biden derides this as a smear campaign, while House Intelligence Chair Adam Schiff calls it, without evidence, Russian disinformation. Director of National Intelligence, the Journal continues, John Ratcliffe, says the government has no intelligence to support the disinformation claim. A repair shop order from April 2019 contains Hunter's name and what appears to be his signature. The shop owner supplied a subpoena showing the computer and hard drive were seized by the FBI in December 2019. And the Biden campaign hasn't said the emails are phony. The emails regarding Hunter businesses in Ukraine have been widely reported. But as intriguing is a May 2017 email thread that includes a discussion about remuneration packages for 6 people as part of a business deal with a now-defunct Chinese energy titan, CEFC China Energy. The Chinese company was international news a few years ago after the U.S. government charged a CEFC-funded organization with money laundering, and its CEO was detained by Chinese authorities. CNN reported in 2018 that, at its height, CEFC was hard to distinguish from the Chinese government. According to the emails, the Journal continued, both Bidens were in line in 2017 to benefit from a deal with the CEFC. One email appears to identify Hunter Biden as the chair or vice chair, depending on agreement with CEFC. It also refers to financial payments in terms of 20 for H and 10 held by H for the big guy ? Fox News says it has confirmed the veracity of the email with one of its recipients, and that sources say the big guy is Joe Biden. An August 27 email from Robert Biden, Hunter's legal first name, crows that the original deal was for $10 million a year in fees, but that it had since become much more interesting to me and my family because it included a share in the equity and the profits. The Biden campaign says the Veep's tax returns don't show any involvement with Chinese investments. The Democratic media refrain is that even if this latest emails are real, again, the Bidens do not deny their authenticity, the Journal notes. They fail to prove Mr. Biden broke any law. But felonies aren't the minimum standard for political behavior. Mr. Biden was a private citizen in 2017, but was considering a presidential run. A transaction would have made him or his son partners with an entity tied to the Chinese government and raises questions about judgment and how he would handle China as president. Joe Biden ought to clear the air on this China business in his own political interest. Is he the big guy in the email? What happened with the deal? China will be one of Mr. Biden's toughest foreign policy challenges, and the unexplained documents won't go away once he's elected. If Republicans hold the Senate, you can bet there will be more digging. President Trump, as usual, is muddying the story with inappropriate demands that the Department of Justice investigate a potential crime. But the real burden here should be on Mr. Biden and the press. Perhaps Joe Biden wasn't involved, and Hunter was using his father's name to advance his own business interests. But it's also possible that Joe Biden was aware of the CEFC business and was willing to tell his son that he couldn't trade on his father's name and position, was unwilling to tell his son that he couldn't trade on his father's name and position. Whatever the truth, the public deserves better than Mr. Biden's Trump-like dismissal of the CBS reporter, who so far is the only one brave enough to ask about the emails. That's the Wall Street Journal lead editorial this morning. I encourage you to send it everywhere. Now, here's the irony. I noticed this morning on my Twitter feed, which I hope you follow. I hope you follow me on Twitter, and I hope you follow me on Parler, the brand new website that is, well, it's relatively new, not brand new. It's a new platform that doesn't censor the news. Parler. And I have an account there, Hugh Hewitt. You can also watch me on YouTube, and many of you are. I'm giving you a salute right now on the YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type in Hugh Hewitt and subscribe, or you're following me on Facebook or Instagram. Welcome to all of you. But over on Twitter, this morning I wrote that the editorial, I quoted the Wall Street Journal. Most of the media is ignoring the emails found in Hunter Biden's laptop, but that doesn't mean they aren't news. Joe Biden has an obligation to answer questions about his son's influence peddling and his own financial dealings, notably regarding China. The Democrat media refrain, is my second quote, is that even if these latest emails are real, again, the Bidens don't deny their authenticity, they fail to prove Mr. Biden broke any law. Joe Biden ought to clear the air on this China business in his own political interest. Is he the big guy in the email? What happened with the deal? Whatever the truth, the public deserves better than Mr. Biden's Trump-like dismissal of the CBS reporter who asked questions. And then finally on Twitter, I note, of course, the entire country that follows politics now knows about Biden, the Biden emails, because of the reach of center-right media. All right, you got it? Here's the key. The vast chasm between the MSM and center-right media, Wall Street Journal, Fox News, this radio show, others, Powerline blog, etc., on how to deal with the Biden emails, illustrates why America is so divided. The half of the country absorbing all the media see this and don't trust the MSM as a result. I absorb all the media, as does most of my audience. Responsible center-right media is reporting the entire story, but including necessary caution about the emails. They could contain disinformation, just like Rathergate in 2004. And much of the MSM simply censors the story because it hurts Joe Biden, and they falsely claim a Russian plot. Now, here's the bottom line. Of course, the entire country that follows politics now knows about the Biden emails because of the reach of center-right media, this radio show and others. Everybody knows. So the big loser is MSM and big tech. The country knows the story. They know the questions about the story, but there is no question about the bias of MSM and big tech. None at all. That's, to me, the big takeaway. Even as this all goes on, it's like the Chick-fil-A story. When Chick-fil-A was being boycotted and the media wouldn't cover it and everybody in the country showed up at Chick-fil-A, it taught me something. Everybody knows everything. Everybody knows everything. And we all know about this story and how dirty it is. How dirty it is. We all know what Donald Trump said on Fox and Friends yesterday, cut number 16.
This is the laptop from hell. They say right in the laptop that, the big man has to get 10%, and then in another case they say 50%. This is 100%. And even if he didn't get, and he does get, and he lives like a king, even if he didn't get all of this money, and everybody's known this in Washington for a long time. This isn't surprising. Nobody's surprised by this. But even if he didn't, you can't go to China and have the son walk out with $1.5 billion to manage. You can't go to Ukraine and have him get $183,000 a month with a $3 million upfront payment. You can't get $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife, $3.5 million, and you have no experience. You didn't have a job until your father became vice president. It's disgraceful.
1-800-520-1234. Do you know about the story, and what does it tell you about media? That's my question this morning.